So I started living many lives in the underworld through a rippling effect. And in every life, it would repeat what had happened in that old Celtic Ireland ish, whatever that fucking place was, in different terms, in a different setting. I would meet the magician and I would meet the old lady at some point. Now, something occurred in which I fell in love with the magician. And I realized later this was because he had bound me as a spirit. So this can only mean that yes, he did kill me and bind me to use me as a spirit or a spiritual tool. And doesn't that piss you off? Anyway, it was a love hag, so I fell in love with this magician. In the scenery in every life that we would play on a loop, I noticed I would meet him and we would fall in love. At some point, something happened. It shook up. I'm not sure. But something happened where I felt like the lady did something to betray me. And I died and I went to a different world. It was almost like a different version or level or image of the underworld. But it was in the future. And so I went into the future and there was gods, many gods, but there was one god who ruled supreme. And he was very cruel, very dominating. I ended up, I guess, somehow becoming his wife. And he had many of them. All the while, I still had this love for this magician because I was still bound to him as a spiritual tool. So even beyond everything and into the future, that magician's spell still held firm. That impresses me. So, this God was a very jealous and mean and towering God. And he could feel my love for the magician, and he looked out and yanked him from the past forward and then forced me to rebirth the old magician that I loved as my son.